Hey guys, it's gonna be real like the last challenge run I did, smashing the views to great numbers only one day. So there's been something that has been perplexing me since I started playing Souls games with Dark Souls 1. Why does Oscar save us instead of going through Lordran himself? Today, we're gonna answer that question by seeing how far we can go through, or how far we can go in Dark Souls 1 by challenging Lordran as Oscar ourselves. Rules of the run are simple. No intentional bugs or glitches, no cheating, and we can only use the gear that Oscar uses, meaning the crest shield, the straight sword of Astora, and the Elite Knight armor set. Rings are up for our choice as the wiki does not tell us anything about rings, but as far as covenants, we can get rewards such as a 30 humanity shortcut to Asylum, but if it's gear we have in slot, we cannot use it. With the introductions out of the way, be sure to comment where in the run you think we get to, or if it'll fail, or if possible, if we beat it. Because YouTube loves to hear your voices on these matters, and it helps the channel grow. But be sure to drop a like if you like the run. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more of these, because I do have a lot of ideas. I just want to make sure that they're being well reached. But with all the YouTube stuff done out of the way, I am also going to be streaming more over at twitch.tv/OmegaPlays104 for those who want to come see me do these challenge runs potentially live. So the formalities out of the way, let's get into the run by seeing our good old friend Big Booty Bob the first. While we don't have any gear of Oscar yet, however, we will do the bandit class and just chop away at its health pool, because we are gonna need a good bit of endurance for the final build. After dispatching Big Booty Bob, we get to Lordran and start running for our equipment. The Astora straight sword in the Valley of the Drakes, right next to the Dragon Crest shield. Next part of our build being the Elite Knight armor, which we have to dash past Havel, which we are aiming to not need his ring to allow us to have mid rolls the whole run. With our Estus flask needing a small boost, we do manage to grab the new Londo Firekeeper Soul and the Undead Parish Firekeeper Soul. So we have a +2 Estus flask, so we can have a good boost to our healing. Now that we have the prep for the run completed, we can start making our way through the game, as we can now go meet a hard-headed friend, the Taurus Demon. Take out his goons on top of up top, so we can have a fair fight. Once he drops down, we head to the ladder, quite literally, and get the drop on him. That makes the health pools probably about even, and then we take him down first try. So, while casually playing, I did notice something a while back, that if you get the Blighttown Firekeeper Soul, the Undead Parish Firekeeper Soul before you ring either bell, Lautrec will bypass the checks for the bells and just take out the Firekeeper and fire like Shrine. So I want to avoid that and show Lautrec I mean business. So after showing him the shiny bottom of my boots, we do a reload to get the first ring we will wear. The Ring of Favor Protection, or the FAP ring as the community calls it. With Lautrec dealt with, I want to do the Drake Bridge in the normal way. Use a short bow to make the Hellkite Drake drop to the bridge and run past, while lighting the bonfire outside of the Sunlight Altar. Which I will get the Sunlight Spear, but we can't use it. Straight sword scaling with 3 stats. It's very weird. So we can go on to our next boss. Ho ho ho. If you thought we were doing the gargoyles next, you're wrong. I chose to suffer a little bit on this run, so guess where we went? Let me know in the comment sections where you think I actually went with the timestamp of me asking this in the comments below. Okay, after this small pause buffer, I'll tell you. We went to the Catacombs because I wanted to have the Rite of Kindling early in the game to help us, as well as the other ring I wanted to help leveling up. So I'm going to be honest, I normally use longer swords of range. Use longer swords of the range of this weapon was confusing early game for me. As people got me the first time, only for him to take me with him the second time. We still got the boss souls, however, but we didn't get a mask, even though we couldn't use it anyways. Now for the true torture of this run. Well, one of the true tortures. Getting the Silver Serpent Ring. Honestly, I would have if I had more levels of my damaging stats, this probably would have been better. But it was just hell getting into the ring. But we got it. And here I thought getting to the ring was torture. Oh no. The worst torture was getting out of the Tomb of Giants through the catacombs without dying. That experience made hell look comfortable for a solid day. But we got the boost we wanted, and now we can go take on our good duo, the Bell Gargoyles. Honestly, I thought our damage was going to be a lot lower considering the skeletons in the catacombs. But Gargoyles take a healthy amount of damage from Astora's straight sword. Bell Gargoyles down, first try, and only 1 S of strength. Probably one of my better fights yet against them. Well, I guess let's ring the first bell and get things moving along. The undead perish, only 1 boss away from completion. We should take care of them. So we go visit Capra to get the key to the depths. Another boss, first try. The dogs were no problem once we get to the ledge where we can isolate the dogs. And then we plunge on Capra to take a good chunk of his health out, and we take him down. All in all, good fight, and 1 try, 1 sippy break. Making our way through the depths, we do free Laurentius, even though we can't use pyromancies. We take care of a sorcerer so that we can have a fair one-on-one with the Gaping Dragon. We could try to aim for the brain meat for more damage, however. I tend to have more success with cutting her tail off first and then sticking to her butt, so the tail sweep attack, as the tail sweep attack will have a small hitbox, is easily avoidable. And you can dodge most of her attacks easier from behind her. That being done, I wanted to wrap up Firelink, and the one thing we need to do is go back to the Asylum and get a word, as we got a word that there was an imposter among us. So we do our best impression of an egg, get taken back to the Asylum, where we find the fake Oscar walking around using our shield. We introduce him to the boulder, and then sunlock him into the corner until he pieces out and gives us the shield that we need for the run. The crest shield. With him taken down, I run downstairs, taking care of the Black Knight, running into my old cell to retrieve the doll. It's not like we're going to forget Priscilla again, right? As soon as we make our way up, I notice another Asylum demon in the basement. So we go take on this stray demon, only for our damage to be abysmal, but we stick to our guts. As a training patience elemental, we stick it out and achieve victory over the stray demon. Now back at Firelink, we can now make our way down to Miyazaki's love area of the game, the Poison Swamp, Blighttown. Make our way through the swamp as we are starting to hit damage drop off, but we honestly defeat Quail second try, and now with her defeated, we can get past our arena and go ring the second bell that unlocks the funhouse. But we're gonna go take care of one other thing first, because while we can't use it, we can grab the gold hemmed armor set, and then we can trigger the ceaseless boss fight, only for him to try to slide back into our DMs, and for us to just tell him no. And at this point, we got 2 paths we can realistically take. We can either go do the butterfly or the funhouse. Yeah, butterfly it is. We make our way through the forest and run into the room, and also I was expecting the butterfly to have a higher magic defense, as the damage is split between physical and defense for our weapon, but she melts like she normally does. Beautifully fought. First try. The souls we now have, we can visit Andre and at least buy the Crest of Artorias for now, so we can get to Sif later. But with all that being said, and purchased, we got the funhouse to go take care of. Honestly, making our way through it wasn't as bad as it normally is, but we do let the blades take care of the snakes to help us out, and we almost reached the bonfire, only to get knocked off last second. Which, honestly, it sucked, but we got there and we got it done. after we get to the bonfire, I do make sure to open up the shortcut, so if we had to come back and grab the plate rings later, we can. But, all in all, okay, it's time to go do the Iron Golem. He decides to teach me that this weapon is not too good, but however, we come back for the second try and we teach him what gravity is, knocking him right off of that pretty little ledge. And that actually unlocks the way to get to Anor Londo. Ah, Anor Londo, the Golden City. At this point, we are probably about the halfway point through the run, as we have O&S, the 4 Lord Souls, the DLC, and Priscilla, who is her own DLC. But we're going to go and make our way through the rafters, past the archers. We're going to do the O&S, we have to at least open the door. But before that, we're going to go see Gwendolyn. Because being honest, I don't really ever have that much trouble fighting Gwendolyn, so may as well fight her before we do O&S. And genuinely, Gwendolyn didn't put up much of a fight and then went down first try. Now comes the fun part of this run. O&S. Honestly, I want to try to get the Hornet Ring for parries, but killing Smo first was not proving possible, so I had to switch to killing Ornstein first and take on Super Smo just to get past the fight. I do want to say, however, Super Smo is a lot easier to telegraph than Super Ornstein. So that's I want to say third try that was. No, it was second try. Second try. Looking back at the footage for that. But we now have the Lord Vessel, and we now teleport all around Lordran, at least of specific bonfires. Well, I guess we'll start the Lord Soul grind. I figured probably the worst one we're going to deal with, besides Bed of Chaos, is Nito. So we go take him on first, and wait, what? This sword keeps his minions down? Well, that's a nice surprise. Once minions are taken care of, we focus on Nito, and with the decent damage from both sides, we win in the War of Attrition and take Nito down on the first try. Honestly, we now have 3 paths to go. Seath, the Bed of Chaos, and the entire Asylum Gauntlet, or the 4 Kings. Honestly, the 4 Kings and Seath are calm fights, so I guess I'm going to go take on the Asylum Gauntlet to try to make things a bit less chaotic towards the end of the run. So, we're going to, first up is Big Booty Bob Spicy Flavor Edition. Honestly, I had 2 bad attempts. He kept getting me with the roots, but we got him on the 3rd try, and I'm happy that's done and over with for this run. Oh, I hate split damage runs. I wonder how things would go if I used sorceries, seeing how honestly I never touched him in Dark Souls 1. Oh, that's 1 fire beast down, 2 to go. Honestly, this kind of ticks me off. I want to do this boss fight legit, just because of the fact Centipede Demon does have this one glitch. If you're in a corner and he grabs you, he can just glitch through the wall. I got him down to 1 hit. For the first time in the fight, second time in the fight, he does the grab, and then he just glitches himself through the wall, and he says, "You know what? I lost this fight. Peace out." They didn't give me the satisfaction of getting the final hit in. Bird is peace. No, for a lot of people's least favorite boss, the Bed of Chaos. This guy doesn't let up. It takes us a few runs, but we handle him again, get the bonfire to spawn underneath of us, shooting us up a little bit, but I do not like dealing with this boss. Now with the whole Asylum Gauntlet taken care of, we can move on to the 4 Kings. Or we can go take on a dragon. fuck it, let's go take on a dragon. Go to the Grand Archives in Anor Londo to find Seath, to only see he has one crystal guard protecting him. I'll go to have a word, trying to tell him, hey, only one guard can't be good for security reasons. Only for him to then curse our name and send us to his prison. And while his curse is active on us, it honestly wasn't paying getting to the bonfire in the archive so we could warp out of there. But once we make it out of there, we do a small detour to get the curse off of us. And we're going to need to go get a ring to help us with getting revenge on Seath for that one. Curse Bite Ring, as our curse resistance was absolute dog shit. However, the 4 kings are in the area, so I guess let's go see Sif first so we can at least get the Abyss Ring to take on the 4 kings. Sif honestly greets us nobly, and she gets a good fight in on the first try, winning her first round. And then we come back swinging with more determination and win the second round. Honestly, I wish there was a way to just like go, oh yeah, here's a secret gesture if you help Artorias and do her whole quest line first, instead of just that secret animation. It just gives you the boss weapon and the ring. Like no souls, no soulless Sif, just, oh yeah, here's the sword. But yeah. Moving on, we do head down into the New Londo ruins. We pick up the Curse Bite Ring after we get the seal key. And we go use the seal key to drain the New Londo ruins. Because now it's time to go do the 4 kings. Which as always is just a DPS race. Which honestly we can kill 1 king before the next one spawns in, so being honest, we take him down first try. You know what? Now with this Curse Bite Ring and the 4 kings done, we have 1 Lord Soul left, and that is Seath. Let's go get revenge on this motherfucking dragon. We stroll on up in with the Curse Bite Ring equipped. Oh, you like this crystal with these, Seath? Yeah, I like not being cursed. Now we can have this fair and square fight. Oh wow, you went down on the first try. With all 4 Lord Souls in our possession, we have 2 paths from here. The Painted World DLC, and the Shadows of Artorias DLC. Honestly, I wanted to try the Shadows of Artorias DLC first. So we take down the Hydra, free Dusk from her golden prison, and then go to the archives. We get the broken pendant that spawns Manus' portal in to drag us into the Shadow of Artorias DLC. Which dealing with the Sanctuary Guardian up first was honestly less trouble than I thought. Even though it was the second try, I thought our damage was going to be super low, but we managed and grounded the Guardian before he became a super problem. We technically have 2 paths to take, Artorias or Calamite. Honestly, I struggled with Calamite, so I decided to go for Artorias first. Honestly, first time, he did take us down. Once I realized how we had to play this fight, we had him second try. Because luckily, we could knock him out of his buff phase with a full stamina bar's worth of heavy attacks. Oh god. Now this is a problem I need to talk about. I was hardwalled by Calamite and Manus. At this point we can get to both of them. I was rocking plus 10 Elite Knight Armor, Steel Plate Ring, Thunder Plate Ring, Fap Ring, or no, not Fap Ring, and one other ring that just basically, I could not find a way to, without dupe glitching to get like soul level 999 or whatever it is, like max level. I didn't want to jeopardize the run's legitimacy, So we cannot count Calamite and Manus for this run. I had to walk away because my patience was not with me for those two. I would get Manus to half health and I would be completely out of heals. Calamite, I would only be able to get him to like a quarter. Because no matter how I dodged, he kept getting me with the Calamity. I tried dodging to the sides. I tried dodging backwards. I tried dodging forwards. I couldn't dodge out of the way of the Calamity. But if somebody does have the dedication and can do them hitless, I'm sure they could be done. So with those two, we only have two bosses left. So we go tackle the Painted World DLC, which honestly, making our way through wasn't that bad. It's just, we did try to make the mistake of getting Priscilla's tail weapon first, which cost us our first attempt. But coming back and focusing on winning the fight in the second round, we did get the victory over Priscilla. With that being said, we jumped out of the Painted World DLC, and now we just got one question left to answer. Can Oscar beat Gwen? With this boss fight being called the parry fight by a lot of people, it's quite obvious on why, though. Because he has a lot of, like, very long animations, so you just easily parry him. But with third try, we do beat Gwen, and honestly, I guess that proves that besides Calamite and Manus, Oscar can in fact complete all of Dark Souls 1. As again, I will say they are possible, I'm just not skilled enough to handle their boss fights myself. With that being said, I hope you all did enjoy. Drop a like if you did, and I'll catch you in the next ones. Peace and chicken grease.